back to you, our dear viewers, is still with us in the Saudi Morning Show, and we are still in discussions. It's our weekly segment, self-development. I was about to read, honestly, some of the points here about self-development, but it's better to know them from our dear guest who is joining us today in the Saudi Morning Show, Mr. Anwar Al-Nakhli, the Business Development Manager. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Mr.
Assalamu alaikum.
It's a pleasure having you with us here in the
Thank
Saudi
you for
Morning
the
Show.
second time. Thank you so much.
First of all, before getting to the self-development, let me ask about the big changes in the past week in the kingdom. How did you see the new royal decisions?
Yeah, okay. First of all, thanks for inviting me for the second time. Actually, if you've seen the past, I would like to take this opportunity to share my deepest sympathy on the death of King Abdullah, God bless his soul. I think there was a smooth transition to the King Salman, and that was really the latest royal decrees. That was really very, very important to the country, to the economy, and even to the youth people. And I'm sure that was really provided in a wise vision of King Salman, which is really lead to it will give a positive impact to the society.
Indeed. And Mr. Anwar, what is the most royal decree from your point of view? Which one's the most important that you felt like it made the biggest impact?
Okay. I think from my point of view, the merge of the Ministry of Higher Education under the Minister of Education. Yes. That was one of the good things. Why it was a good decision? From my point of view, I see that having the Minister of Higher Education under the Minister of Education, it will give a positive impact, a positive vision to all of our scholarship students. You know, today we have, I believe, more than 100,000 students in around all the kingdom. So I think there is a new task for the new Minister of Education that has to be given strategic planning for these students.
Indeed, something's very important because, you know, education is something that they need to focus more on, make it under one umbrella.
Yeah, and also if you see today the scholarship students, actually, it will give them the benefits of these students. Not only bring the higher education from abroad, it's even bringing a lots of cultures and new cultures and a positive vision to the society here.
Mm-hmm. Especially for those on scholarship who are getting two salaries. But let's focus more on self-development, Mr. Anwar. How those who are studying abroad could develop themselves, take an opportunity of being abroad in order to develop themselves. Because usually those who are old in age would say, take the opportunity of being far from your country, because life is a school, as they say.
Absolutely.
How they would take an advantage of this?
I think there is lots of advantage, lots of advantage. As I was mentioning, not only getting the degree or the higher degree from abroad. There is a lots of, for example, if you look at the new culture there, it's a totally different culture.
Sure.
So I think if these students, scholarship students, they getting into a different culture, getting to the people, that's it. Absolutely, it will lead to an advantage of the scholarship. It will also reflect in their business development. That's how they develop themselves. Getting into the society, getting into the new cultures, learning a new stuff. That's the most important.
Everyone is an ambassador, actually.
Absolutely,
of the Kingdom Studies. And they should show the values and the ethics of the Saudi people. And mentioning the personal side of the scholarship program and being awake is helpful for maybe time management, like being independent.
Absolutely. That's really I was in the previous show I was covering that. That's the most important. That I think that will help the students. Because they will be totally self-dependent on themselves. Mm-hmm. That's really it will help a lot on gaining all, and it will help them in developing their personality.
Indeed. And Mr. Anwar, from your personal experience, that if I'm not mistaken, you went to Canada, you studied abroad, and something that's a brand new experience for you, because over there you were studying, it's a new experience, new education, new outlook on life, new point of view. Can you tell us more about your experience, and how did that help you from your point of view, and what advice do you have for other ones on scholarship across the world about what kind of ways or advice can help you for self-development for your future?
Okay. That was one of the most important changes in my life. Actually, it did change a lot in my personality, a lot of things. Even it did improve my business development skills. I was mentioning getting to know the new cultures, getting to know the other people. For example, let's take an example. When I was there, or before I go there, the seatbelt, for example. Nobody like paying attention to the seatbelt, but there people, they are really doing that not because of they are afraid of the policeman. They are respecting the rules. They know what is the regulation, what is the rules. So I think what it reflects in my personality, that we respect the rules. No matter where you are, you have to respect the rules.
True.
Not you do things not because you're afraid of something. You do it because you respect the rules. That's the most important. And also that's, I think, it's a wise vision again, which King Abdullah started, and now King Salman is continuing to start for having this student, this scholarship, because at the end they will bring a lots of exactly wise vision, a positive, which will reflect in a sophisticated nation.
It's a great push actually for the Saudi economy and
Absolutely.
the Saudi society. For the future. But Mr. Anwar, allow us to stop for a quick report. So our dear viewers, it's time to see this report, and then we'll be back to resume our discussion with Mr. Anwar. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to viewers. That was a short report, and we'll continue this very important discussion and do our weekly segment about self-development with our VIP guest here today, Mr. Anwar Al-Nakhli, who is a business development manager. So, Mr. Anwar, we're discussing before about people following the rules. When they go overseas, for you encounter something that was very different. They followed the rules not because they were scared. They followed the rules because something that's very beneficial. It's something that a habit you create where you're able to provide it to your children, with your family and friends, and especially with the ones that come back, they have a brand new vision, a brand new idea of how the world is. Like he was saying, it's like life is an experience. So when you have different experiences around the world, meeting new people, new culture, new identity, as I will say, they bring it back and they have a brand new vision, a brand new path, and a brand new opportunity for the Saudi citizens. Can you tell us more about how does this impact the country?
Yeah, as we were saying, that it is different between being forced to follow the rules and being you wanna follow the rules or you wanna do the rules. That's really it's difficult. I don't say it. It is. I have seen some cases. For example, a friend of mine, when they go outside of the country, they really follow the rules. Absolutely, they follow it.
Yeah.
But when they come back home, they don't do it. So there is an issue. there is an issue.
This thing would come. It's a responsibility about the parents,
Yes,
and also the teacher, the
yeah,
first
and
grades of
it's
school.
true. Yes,
Because once you teach a student in a young age to do this, try to explain why, and it's for his benefit. Then he would be thinking different actually about the rules.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they were doing this, or if we, at least from the beginning, we tell our children that, okay, if you do that, that's what will happen. If you don't do it, that's what will happen. So then, I think it's a matter of, as you were mentioning.
I feel like it's a habit that people created. Because when you say, for me, it's like for me and Ghazi, we were in the U.S., you were in Canada. You create a habit. I'm sure it was very different.
Absolutely.
Because with a seatbelt, even following the rules and regulations, especially say if one of the topic is the road. This is the biggest crisis here in the kingdom. Well, I see there's many crackdown, but they're still getting used to the habit. So I believe it's like a habit. If they kind of try to break the habit, try to understand and get used to this habit, and do not let other people's habit get influenced you, it will be something that's on a positive note. So it's something I feel like is like, create your own habit and stick with the habit. And people will see that habit.
Like, for example, once I was I was driving my car and I was alone in traffic lights. That was late night, so nobody was there. So then someone, he came and I was like, really, he stopped me. He's like, why are you are you waiting? Just go pass the traffic. I was like, it's red. So what? Nobody's there. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's a habit.
That's the misunderstanding,
It's true.
actually. And there's a problem, actually, as we mentioned, in the early years. Because once this thing is fixed from early age, I guess the situation would be different.
It would be different.
But alhamdulillah, we're seeing actually a good percentage of people
There is
started to
improvement.
follow
Yes,
and
there is
understand the
improvement.
rules.
There is improvement.
And last question with you, Mr. Anwar Al-Nakhli. Let me ask about the first few days of anyone who's abroad. Some people would actually cannot cope up with the new cultures and things. How to overcome this? How to not have that much of homesick, and
Yeah.
then you'll that would influence your school and your grades and everything. How to manage this in the first few months?
I think it's for everyone it's difficult, for being away from home for the first time, for example, especially for the people who just graduated from high school and they're going there. It is difficult, but I think for there is lots of people there, lots of Saudis, for example, if they can get together, for example, for some quiet time in the weekdays, that I think it will really help them for being homesick. So that would help them a lot, actually, if they get together once a week, but not every day. Every day, then
Socializing.
That's
No,
one, and that's well, they not get to know English.
That's true.
Actually,
I totally agree with you, Mr.
Yeah.
Anwar, and thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so
And I'm
much.
sure it was for the dear viewers at home, it's something that's about self-development. That was Mr. Anwar Al-Nakhli, a business development manager, discussing about self-development. So at the moment, we'd like to thank again Mr. Anwar, and we're taking a short report to conclude today's episode. Stay tuned.